A classical atheistic argument is that there are so many religions and so many different gods, so they cannot all be correct. So then they conclude that other religions must necessarily be wrong. Why is that not a legitimate...
Well, it totally logically makes no sense. That argument, just as you stated it, makes no logical sense. If you've ever seen a well-known game where you take a number of cups, and you turn them upside down, and there is one little ball you put under one cup. And then the person who is directing this game very quickly switches all the cups around into different places, faster than your eye can follow, and then he says, which cup is the ball underneath? So all the cups look identical to the outsider. So you pick one and you lift it up and it's empty. You pick the next one, you lift it up, it's empty. Maybe a third one. So therefore, the atheist who's following this pattern of logic would say, all the cups look the same to me. I lifted up 3 of them. I looked inside. I don't see anything there. So therefore, there's nothing there to find. There's nothing that has a truth. But in fact, one of those cups does have the ball inside. And if you were following very closely from the very beginning, all the actions of the person who's leading the game, or if you were able to carefully see that difference in that one cup that maybe another had missed, you would be able to follow and you would be able to know which one contained the truth. And that one of all the religions that does contain the truth is the Torah as it was given to Moses at Mount Sinai.
The first of the 7 commandments is the commandment not to worship any idols. What's the significance and the importance of this specific commandment, and why is it listed first?
Well, it's listed first, and it's most important because this is the first directive that was given to Adam when he was created. Adam was created by God, and when he was awakened as a physical body endowed with a godly soul, to whom God spoke and to whom God instructed, we see in the Torah that the first thing that is revealed there is it says that, and God said to Adam. So Adam, upon his becoming conscious, recognized his Creator. And in fact, he called on all of the creation to acknowledge and bow down to that Creator. This is at the time that he was created. So the purpose in that is that God is the ultimate of goodness. And it's the nature of the good to want to bestow good. So God wants to give reward and blessings to his children, the human race. To receive those rewards and blessings, his children, the human race, has to recognize him as their Father in heaven, as their Creator. So, and not to get confusing the darkness of the creation with the light of spirituality, of true spirituality. So, ultimately, in order to become a vessel to receive the blessings that God bestows, the person needs to recognize where the blessings are coming from and for what purpose. and that is that they're coming from one God, and the purpose is to recognize that one God, in other words, seeing the true nature of the creation.
I speak to a lot of people, and my experience is that many people, they are very, yeah, as you say, they are very searching. They are searching for the truth. But when I talk to them about Judaism and Torah, it is almost as it's so foreign for them, and they are not so, there are so many misconceptions. Mostly based on on ignorance and misconceptions and lack of information. How could be a good way of presenting Torah, presenting the 7 laws to such a person?
Well, in the course of history, great areas of the world have become it's become known the fact that there was a Torah given to the Jews. Either major religions hold the Torah to be an actual divine revelation, which they may not accept to follow themselves, or at least it is certainly of all the world's great pieces of literature. If you ask a person to name some famous books in the world, most people are going to include the Bible as having a significant a book that had significant impact on mankind. So there is a knowledge of its existence. There's even a knowledge of what it says. Most people who know of the so-called Bible know that it contains 10 commandments, and they even know what some of those 10 commandments are. So they have at least a superficial knowledge. Once the person has a superficial knowledge, which almost every single person has from the time that he's a child, then it's not a foreign idea. It's an idea that the person that the person can learn more about. A person having a human mind naturally wants to seek out the truth of a thing. And he wants to see how things fit together. If he's presented with a fact that two things are contradictory, or two things do not seem to reconcile with each other, he will want to find out what is a reconciliation, which one is true. So I think that it's just presenting to a person this knowledge has a lot of value, and you would benefit greatly from learning more about it. And here is where you can learn more about it. Here's where you can get the information, and you'll look it over, and you'll see what it is, and you'll make some decisions based on that. So the idea is to get it out there and get it introduced, and people should have an open mind.
You have published a book, The Divine Code.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk about that book? Why did you publish it?
Sorry?
Why did you publish it?
Well, I began to be involved in the outreach for the Noahide Commandments back around the year 2000, and became very clear that if you're going to let people know about this information, that they're going to want to know what's it all about. Okay, you told me there's 7 commandments. Where do we find them? How do I follow them? What does it entail? So there has to be some backing up of the introduction with a more more in-depth information for someone who's going to take it seriously, either want to check it out or want to learn it, for their own knowledge and to follow it in a practical way. So, of course, I began to look for those sources where I could make that information available from. And I found that there were some popular superficial overviews of the 7 Commandments. The actual details of the commandments are discussed at length by the Jewish sages and through whom it was handed down in their writings, and in their Torah law discussions. So there was an obvious need to collect that information and again make it available and make it taught to those people who need it on a practical basis. So that process is something that I did get started on, and then it came to my attention that the leader of the Lubavitch movement within Hasidic Judaism, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, had been the one in our times who actually began to stress and call out regarding the need to again become a light to the nations and make this information universally known. Of course, that gave me a lot of motivation to do the work, but I also found out that the Rebbe had instructed that there should be a codification of the Noahide laws, as there had been for the Jewish laws, for the Jewish commandments, going all the way back to Rabbi Yosef Karo with the Shulchan Aruch, Rambam with the Mishnah Torah, and of course the compilation of the oral law within the Mishnah and the Talmud. So that's a process that, for the Jewish people, it took place over a long period of time, from the time when it was very, very widely known and taught from father to son, from teacher to academy within the Jewish nation. But then, of course, as the Jews became dispersed throughout the world, it became necessary to make a repository in the rabbinical writings, so the information would not be lost. And within there was also included the information about the Noahide Commandments, because those are just as much a part of Torah as the Jewish commandments. So the rabbi instructed that process needed to happen for the Gentiles, that a research and a compilation of practical knowledge of how that they would apply in the modern world, in our daily lives. How do we make sure that we're not stealing? How do we make sure that we're not worshiping idols? That we're not harming or murdering, etc. How do we make sure that we're righteously, following the pursuit of justice? So my organization took that upon ourselves as a goal.